Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. Today is Friday, June 7th, the year 2024. The weather is cloudy. Okay, hoy es viernes 7 de junio de 2024. 24? Yes, 24. Yes, the weather is cloudy. And I woke up a little earlier than usual. A little bit earlier than usual. I usually am woken up by one of my dogs or even both of my dogs, because especially one of the two dogs. I have two dogs and named James. He wakes up very early, around 7:30 or so. It's the time for me to be very early. I consider 7:30 to be very early because I'm not an early riser. I've been becoming earlier riser, but I used to be a night owl, and but these days the weather is so nice, and the temperature is getting hotter and hotter, which makes me want to walk my dogs earlier than before, because the hotter the weather is, the more difficult it has become for us to go outside and walk, for me to walk my dogs. So that is why I really want to wake up earlier than before. And today, as usual, James woke me up by licking my mouth, which he usually doesn't do it, but he doesn't do. But somehow, the first thing in the morning, he has this customary to wake me up by licking my mouth, which I don't like very much because it's suffocating. And just the other day, they had their plaque on their teeth removed, and this makes their mouth smell okay. But still, I'm not used to being licked by my dogs, especially on my mouth. And anyway, because I don't want them to do it first thing in the morning, I always should wake up if they do this to me. And I woke up a little earlier than usual, and then the first thing I did was that, I rinsed my mouth first thing in the morning, and even before that, I always go to the bathroom, and then rinse my mouth, and take off my mouthpiece from my mouth. Okay, and then rinse my mouth, and then drink some water. And especially when I try to rinse my mouth, I always washed my tongue, which is very important because a little while ago, like a year or so, not very recently, but I watched this YouTube video which talked about the importance of us washing our tongue first thing in the morning before eating something, because I always knew that there's something on your tongue, and it's like mouse. And especially when you're sleeping, so much bacteria or nasty substances tend to stick on your tongue for as long as 6 hours and somewhere between 6 hours and 8 hours, that long. And if you don't rinse your mouth or even wash your tongue before eating something, if you eat something after that, with your tongue unwashed, you will get lots of bacteria in your body. And the video said that it's really bad for your health, and it's also very bad for your, especially for your bowel. So it might cause a colon cancer or something, which I had until 2 years ago. I had the operation that year 2022, and now I'm quite healthy. My blood tests are okay, and my next blood test is just around the corner, and a week after that I will have to see my doctor for the first time in 6 months, because I'm supposed to go to have my checkup twice a year for 5 years since I had after my operation. And between that, I go to my nearest clinic. My nearest clinic is very close to my house. It's like less than 1 minute walk from my house. It's just across from my house. And it's the clinic that I used to go when I was a kid. Anyway, where was I? Yes, and I washed my tongue because it's very important for my health. And then I made some milk for my dogs because I wanted to walk them earlier than usual, but still I didn't have to be in a hurry because the weather is cooler than yesterday, and I could have waited a little longer before taking them out for a walk. But anyway, if I had given them any food at the time, I would have had to wait at least an hour before walking, because it'll take some time for them to digest the food, right? And it's not very good for them to start walking just after eating something, right? Especially a big meal or something. So I tried to refrain from it, and instead I gave them some milk. It's a goat milk, because dogs can't drink cow milk, usual milk, because it's too strong for them. I mean, I don't know what to call it, but it's milk sugar? No, I don't think so. I don't think they call it that way. Lactose, I don't know. They can't digest the cow's milk properly. So giving them usual milk that we usually drink is not good for them. That's why I bought goat milk, because it is good for them. It's okay for them to drink goat milk, and it's powder, and I added some hot water to melt it, and then I add about the same amount of cold water to cool it down. And since it was lukewarm enough for them to drink, I gave them the milk. And in this way, they were supposed to get some water and also some protein. And I had to wait at least for about 10 minutes or so, because even it's liquid, I don't think it's a good idea for me to start walking them just after they drink milk. And about me, I didn't eat anything because I didn't have anything to eat first thing in the morning today. Sometimes I left some food from the dinner from the previous night, but today I had nothing to eat. And these days I try to cook rice first thing in the morning only for myself, because in the morning there's only one person in the house, and with 2 dogs, I don't have to make breakfast for anyone else. So it's just okay for me to cook rice only for myself. And I cook rice with some beans because beans has a lot of protein, which is good for your health, right? It's a very important nutrient, especially when you are getting older. Your muscle mass, the amount of muscle you have, is getting less and less as you get older. So you have to get even more protein than you think you do. And so that's why it's very easy for me to cook rice with beans, because these days I use lens bean. I don't know if that particular kind of bean has some particular word to describe it. I mean, lens bean is the right name? I don't know, but okay. And it's very easy. Usually dry beans should be soaked into water the night before or something, because it takes time for them to absorb water. And since it's dried, it's hard, and it takes time to cook usually anyway. But when it comes to that particular kind of bean, which the shape looks like lens, okay, that's why it is called lens bean or something. But okay, it's very easy to cook. You don't have to soak it in water to soften. You don't have to put it in water to absorb water. So that's why. And especially my rice cooker is quite new, very new. I bought it this spring because I wanted to make my rice the most delicious when it comes to how many more times I can eat my breakfast for the rest of my life. I want to make each of my meal something special every time I eat rice. So I decided to buy a new rice cooker, which turned turned out to be just right. Until then, we were using just a very small one, the cheapest one, and it was okay to cook rice. Yeah, it's okay. It was okay. It was okay. The rice turned out to be okay when it was cooked with the rice cooker, the smaller, less expensive one. But it was just okay. Just after the rice was cooked. I mean, if I left the rice after it was cooked, when the rice cooker was ready, is ready usually, there is a sound, right? Beeping sound or something to let us know that the rice is cooked. And just after that, I opened the lid and the rice inside was cooked perfectly okay. And it even made me feel as if that was the most delicious rice in the world. Okay, it looked shiny and it looked very fresh, and but if I left it even for only a minute or so, the shyness disappeared, and I didn't know why. And it was a very small one, like it only held rice for 2 people max. Tops. Okay, it only held rice for 2 people max. If the rice cooker had been used by a man, then it could have held on rice only for one person, which means that the rice cooker is very small. Okay, then. So, in a nutshell, I'm very happy that I bought this new rice cooker. Yeah, because it is bigger and it has more functions, and now it makes my cooking time more fun, more enjoyable. Okay, and it's very easy to cook rice and the bean I explained a while ago, and it takes only 45 minutes or 60 or 70 minutes depending on which function you use though. But okay, just I said the rice, and then I didn't eat anything, but I just ate a little bit of yogurt without sugar, because it is some protein, and the amount of protein I had this morning was not enough, especially before walking. But I didn't have much time, and especially the rice was still in the rice cooker, uncooked, so I didn't have any other option. And after I gave my dogs some milk, it was time for me to start walking my dogs. And even though the temperature seemed to be lower than yesterday, when I went outside, I felt quite hot and also humid, because in Japan, humidity is terrible. It's humid all the time, and I can imagine how dry other countries could be, how drier, okay, because I've never been abroad, so I just imagine how drier, okay, but in Japan it's always humid, and so that's why I learned that the skin, Japanese people's skin tend to be, moistured, and I don't know how to say it, because people living in other countries might have more dried skin because of the weather. And since Japan, the humidity is terrible, but it helps us have moistured skin, which is quite nice. In this part, but this part is quite nice. But when it comes to spending time or doing something, it can be troublesome because the more humidity you have, the more it doesn't feel very okay, right? It doesn't feel okay, right? It's nasty. It can be nasty, and especially the rainy season, it can be more terrible, even more terrible. But we have to put up with this because that's how Japan's weather is. Okay, anyway, and when I went out, I was quite surprised how hot and humid it was today. It looked pretty cooler. It looked cooler inside the house. We are not using air conditioner yet. I sometimes turn it on to cool our house down, cool the temperature down in the house, or I use the the function to make the humidity go away. I don't know how to explain it in English. I can't find the right word to describe this expression. We say 除湿 in Japanese, but it literally means remove moisture. Okay, so in order to make the air dry, I sometimes turn on the air conditioner. But when it comes to cooler, the function to cool the temperature down in the house, we still don't use much. We still don't use the air conditioner much for that purpose. Okay, and I usually walk my dogs wearing jacket. Okay, very thin jacket, but it is a jacket with long sleeves. I just bought it on Amazon.com. Last year, at the end of last year, and it turned out to be too big for me. So it makes me feel as if I were wearing a huge piece of clothes around my body. Wearing something too big for yourself, to your body, cannot be right? Because it might have too much excessive clothes, which makes you feel difficult to move quickly. Because of the clothes, I guess, it made me feel even more hotter and humid. Okay, anyway, and we walked for about 45 minutes or so in my neighborhood, and I was walking while listening to my yesterday's video, okay, to see how I was doing. Because when I'm speaking English like this, I can't see myself objectively, right? So that is why sometimes I tend to think that I did a great job, but sometimes I tend to think that what I did was extremely terrible, and which makes me feel devastated. But when I listen back to it, listen back to my recording, it's funny that I always have a totally different impression of what I did. So when I thought that I did a great job, most of the time it turned out to be that great. But when I felt devastated because I thought that I had made lots of mistakes, and I thought that I hadn't been able to explain things more easily, very easily. I thought that I should have done better or something, and then I listened back to my recording, and things turned out to be not that bad, and which is encouraging. So that's why I always make it a rule to listen back to my recording, no matter how devastated I felt after that. And when it comes to the most effective speaking practice, or even more effective speaking practice, there's this very good way of improving your speaking skills, which is that you choose the topic, and you just keep talking for about 2 minutes, for example, about the topic, without any preparation at first, and then you record your voice, you record yourself then, okay, and you listen back to it, and you make your own do your own correction, and you make it better. And then the next time you talk about the same topic again for about 2 minutes, and this version is better, and you record yourself again, and you listen back to it, and if there's something that you think you can make even better, then you correct something, and then try to talk about it again for 2 minutes. It should be shorter because you correct it, and then you make it more compact, more concise, and then how much time you spend on talking about the same topic could be shorter, right? More compact, more effective. And this is one of the ways that many people recommend in order to improve your speaking skills. And I seldom do this just because it sounds a bit troublesome for me. And instead, I usually do this kind of practice, which is in which I just talk about anything as while I'm fishing for words. And I don't think this is better because it takes time. Anyway, it takes time, and it's too random, right? It's too random, and but at the same time, I think this kind of practice is also very necessary for me because sometimes quantity is more important than quality. And when it comes to speaking the language, speaking your foreign language, you've been speaking your native tongue for the last many years, right? In my case, I will be 60 this year in 3 months. And literally, I've been speaking Spanish for the last, 59 years, 58 years at least. So I have experienced speaking this language for such a long time. And this actually made me fluent in Japanese, right? And then, what about my foreign language? When it comes to English, when I started studying English when I was 28, but it doesn't mean that I've been talking this language ever since I started studying English at the age of 28. So compared to my Japanese, English is like a baby for me. And in order to make my English my second nature, all I need is the volume of practice, the amount of practice. So in this case, the more I speak in English, the better I get used to it. And more easily I can speak this language. And so in this respect, what I'm doing like this kind of practice is also very helpful to me. And I cannot listen back to everything that I spoke, because if I spent 60 minutes or even 120 minutes, 2 hours, then when I want to listen back to it, it'll take the same amount of time, and I don't think it's very realistic because life is short, right? I have tons of other things to do, but just talking about anything in English like this is very necessary for me to get used to this language in order to make it my second nature. The first priority for me at the moment is to speak up, to speak as much as possible, no matter how bad I do. That's why I'm doing this practice on this channel, and I know that not many people watch it. And yeah, it's natural for people to be happy about watching my videos in which I practice speaking. I just practice speaking like this. It's not very interesting. It's not very entertaining, but it's fiction. It's non-fiction, right? Non-fiction, right? It's non-fiction. It's documentary. It shows how I've been doing, and it shows how my English has been improving. It's just a record of myself improving my spoken English, And so it's not very interesting or fun to other people. So I'm not doing this to entertain people. That's why I don't have to care about how other people would think about my videos, because this is not my first priority. My first priority is make myself speak, and no matter what, no matter how I feel reluctant to do it, because even when you are not in a mood for doing something, sometimes you have to do it, right? It's not good for your health, yeah, in a real sense, but the more I speak, the better I can get at speaking English. Then why not I do it every day? I could do this all the day, but I also want to input. I want to listen to very good podcasts when it comes to English expressions, and when it comes to improving my English expressions, and it can be also helpful for getting information in English. And I don't think I'm on the I don't think I can how I can explain this, but my English is not advanced yet, especially when it comes to spoken English. I don't think my level is still upper intermediate. I need to work on more, because I know more and more people who are good at speaking English. Japanese people. Generally speaking, Japanese people are not good at speaking English, but still, I don't know how many percentage of people, but some people are really good at speaking English, and they have attained that for a less amount of time than I have done. So this shows that I could have done much faster. I could have done much better. I couldn't do it just because I didn't do it. I didn't spend the same amount of energy. I didn't spend the same amount of time on improving my speaking English. They could have done much more. They could have done much more, and they could have spent much more time and energy. So that's why. It's obvious. So then, why not I try to invest more time and energy if I want to be a better English speaker? So that's why I decided to do this practice again. And this is the best opportunity for me to do this, because it's free, right? Just speaking to myself and record my voice and upload my upload my video on my YouTube channel. It's totally free. And I don't need anyone to talk with me. And especially, as I said in my recent previous videos, I have this tendency called attachment disorder and avoidant personality disorder. People with this kind of tendency are afraid of people, because they tend to think that they're worthless. And I feel the same way. And that's why I'm afraid of people. Especially, I concerned about how people would think about me. And I have very low self-esteem. And that's why if I talk to people, I always worry if I'm wasting the other person's time, very important time, because I'm worthless, and so I feel very, very sorry about that. Basically, okay. But now I understand where my tendency came from. I mean, I didn't get enough affection from my parents, either my parents or my mother especially. And my mother might have been in the same kind of situation when she was raised by my grandmother, though, or grandparents. I didn't look deep into that yet, so I can't say it 100%. I'm not 100% for sure, but okay, anyway, in a nutshell, I don't want to talk to people because it makes me feel as if I was wasting the other person's precious time. The only place I can count on or refer to is such internet, online English speaking conversation lessons or something like that. There are many out there nowadays, so it's very easy to find a partner to talk to, especially a teacher, okay, from people from all over the country. But since I tend to feel that I am worthless, I'm just afraid that if I have teachers or partners, I might waste their time, and I'm afraid if the other person might think I might bore the other person because I'm not very interesting at all, and I can't think that I can talk about something really interesting to them. It's a practice, so I wouldn't have to care about such a thing. I pay, and so that's why it means that I buy the time, right? I have the right to talk about anything, but I'm not confident in myself. Basically, I try not to, and I'm gaining more confidence day by day because I'm learning how to cope with my tendency and situation. And the first thing I should do is to accept my tendency, accept who I am, and I have been doing this, and I think I'm growing, which is good. Yeah, I'm not desperate, and I haven't given up yet either. Okay, there's always a hope. Yes. And where was I? Yes, that's why just talking about any random things is very important for me to get used to speaking and make it my second nature. So that's why. And maybe I might do another way of improving my speaking, which I talked about a little while ago. Like I speak a certain kind of I talk about a certain kind of topic and I record myself and I elaborate the previous one, and I correct my mistakes and I make it better, and the more I do it, the better my speech can become, and which it's very effective and it's efficient. Yeah, but we sometimes have to take time, right? Pursuing only effectiveness is not the answer, I guess, to make your life more fulfilling. Sometimes you forget about effectiveness and you just enjoy what you're doing for as long as you want. So this is part of it. This practice is part of it. And this is very important for me. Okay. And so that's why I don't care about how many views my videos get, because this is not my first priority. I understand that my videos are not interesting to people naturally, and my first priority is to make myself a better English speaker. So that's why. That's what I wanted to talk about for today, but I just came up with this as I started talking. While I was talking, I always look for what I want to say. So this is a great practice for me, because when I just started studying English at the age of 28, I studied English for about a year, and then I started taking part in this club in which many housewives with little kids came to enjoy talking something in English. I had to speak. I had to talk something in English, because every time I saw the teacher, the first thing that my teacher asked me, or asked the other students also, was what's new. And the club we had the club, okay, English lesson, English chat club, every Monday. So every time the teacher asked us what's new, we had to answer what we had done the previous day, which is Sunday. But at that time, I almost never talked to people in English, especially to an English native speaker, so I had a hard time doing it. And at that time, I prepared all the sentences, all the English sentences that I was able to use or speak in the lesson. And otherwise, I had no idea. I totally had no idea what to speak, what to say. And in those days, it was totally unbelievable for me to start a sentence, to come up with a sentence from my mouth without knowing how the sentence ended. So that's why I prepared the whole sentence beforehand. And if I knew that the sentence was going to end properly, and then I was able to speak. But now, I even don't know what comes out from my mouth myself. So compared to myself in those days, I'm now doing much better in this respect. So I should be proud of myself. Okay, that's about it for today because I haven't studied Spanish today yet. And while I'm energetic enough, I should do some review work to solidify my memory of some Spanish expressions and so forth. Okay, thank you very much for listening if you are still there. And I'll be back some other time. I cannot promise I will be back tomorrow because depending on my mood, but as I said a little earlier in this video, that no matter how bad I feel for the day, maybe it's better for me to say something because I don't have to care about how others would think about my speech, as this is my practice. And the main priority is to make myself get used to the language. So I should speak more and more. I should speak more and more to get used to it and to make my English second nature as comfortable as my Japanese. So, okay, I'll be back some other time, but maybe tomorrow. And I really hope that you have a lovely day today, wherever you are. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.